All right. Welcome to Mad Men Sports. We are doing this in a virtual capacity as I, for the third time, am in COVID quarantine. So unfortunately, I couldn't get in the studio, but we wanted to get you some content in some capacity. Zach, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here at Madman Sports Total Landscaping, enjoying myself and having a great Thursday morning podcast. We got a big week coming. We got 3-game winning streak going in to one more against the Arizona Cardinals. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get that one and ride into the bye, maybe 8-2. Worst case scenario, 7-3, which is where they were last year at a certain point in time. So I'll take this. I'll take this schedule being, at the worst case scenario, 4 games above 500.
I know. I mean, we've played some very tough competition already. So going into the second half of the schedule gets a little easier. Sure, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have the 49ers, who don't look as impressive as they did when they went to the Super Bowl last year. So I would say that our hardest part of the schedule is behind.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we thought the Seattle Seahawks were going to be a hard part of the schedule, and no knock against them, but the Bills might just be good. Maybe give a little respect, put some respect on the name. You know what I'm saying?
We dropped 44 points on them. So
if you ask me, it should have been 48. That Gabe Davis touchdown was a touchdown every way I've seen it.
I saw that after the fact. It's tough that they didn't catch that, and Sean McDermott didn't get his review in.
Yeah, they scored. I mean, if we look back at that game and they lost, we would have been like, damn, those 4 points would have been the backbreaker or the difference maker. But luckily, no stress, no fuss, no problems. Wow, do we have a lot going on this week for the Bills? It's week 9. Well, it's week 10. Well, wrapping up week 9. We have Josh Allen, Offensive Player of the Week again, second time this season, first time not against the Dolphins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's just great.
He does have a thing against animals. So, Dolphins, Seahawks, you better watch out, Cardinals. He's coming for you. He's, the Rams, he had a great game against Rams. I don't know. Maybe something about those Chiefs and Titans that he can't really shake out, but Josh Allen, good against animal teams. Never forget.
Confirmed hates animals.
Yes, but loves the people. And that's kind of what is going on right now in Buffalo is him loving people and people loving him back with these donations that they're kind of giving to Oshai Children's Hospital in honor of his grandmother who died Saturday, that past Saturday evening. And then he still played. And then, you put it all out there. And in return, Bills Mafia, the Bills fans, one Buffalo, one love is kind of giving it right back to him. And they've donated up until this point $350,000 in honor of Patricia Allen, his grandmother. That's love right there. And we've seen Allen's comments saying, "Wow, I couldn't believe this. I'm speechless." I never want to leave Buffalo. Which, hey, you don't want to leave. $18 million every year. That works for me. Works for you. We're staying. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's a very big gesture coming on right now by the Buffalo Bills, and it's definitely being noticed. We've seen Tyrann Mathieu from Houston, no. Arizona, no. Chiefs, maybe he's on the Chiefs nowadays. And he said, that's what it means to be a diehard fan, and that's kind of it echoes what we've always known about Bills fans is that there's a fandom other places, and then there's 8 feet of air, and then the mark for where Bills fans are because they are so far above everyone else. They go above and beyond consistently. They love the team, they love the sport, they love the players so much that they put everything they got into it. That when they recognize someone that's going out there on the line, really giving it them all, they're all amongst adversity. Got to say, wow, I got to, they go to bat for their guys just as much as Bills. The only team in New York. Josh Allen's made so many gestures throughout the years that they're willing to give it back because he's gone to bat for them so many times. I think it's a huge gesture.
Yeah, and there's football fans, there's fans of a team, and then there's Bills fans.
Yes.
There's super fans, and then there's Bills fans. Throughout any sport, I can't think of anything that comes close that the relationship that the Bills Mafia has with the Buffalo Bills. It's unparamounted. I mean, you can't get anything better than that.
It's second to none. Like it is above everything else. The passion, the relationship. It's almost insulting to call being a Bills fan a passion because it's so much more than that. It's bigger than I like this team. It's I am this team. And you always see like, oh man, we need to score more points. Oh, what position you play? That's not like that, but it's like that here because you are a part of it. You know what I mean? You are invested. You are one with the Bills. It's almost you can't even describe it honestly, but it means so much to people like me, you, and then I mean we talk about the people we see on Twitter every day that we interact with. We've never even met before, but they're our best friends. The people, we've never met the people in our comments, but we always treat them like they're in the room with us because it's just a relationship. It's a level playing field. When you're a Bills fan, because love is love when it comes to the Bills. If you love the Bills, I love you. It's walking away from someone and saying "Go Bills" instead of goodbye. That's what It's that deep.
I mean, and it's not like they're on like a silver platter either. I mean, we see these Bills players in Wegmans. We see them at Core Life, RIP, and all these other places. I mean, we see them around town. It's not like these guys are locked in the gated community. They're around us. They're like Stephon Diggs, always on Elmwood. Gabe Davis was at Canal Side a couple days ago. Like, players are taking a vested interest in our community, and we as Bills fans can't help but to do the same thing, like what we were talking about with Josh Allen and his grandmother. So it's a mutual agreement that we have, which I don't think that any NFL team has. So
it's everything. You know what I mean? It's the city. It's the people that leave the city and are still Bills fans. It's everyone wants to give so much credit to Buffalo, but the outsiders that have a connection. You think about the people in California that have never been to Buffalo once, just love the team. They are able to build relationships through Twitter. It's a huge movement. It's not even a fandom. It's a movement. When you're a Bills fan, it's deep for you, and that's what matters, and that's what I love about it. We do a podcast. I mean, we used to do a podcast every week and twice a week if we could, and earlier. It is what it is.
It's been a tough month.
We're in a pandemic, so you go through these things, but I want to do it every day. I want to do it. I wish we could do it every day because it's just I love interacting. I love talking about it. It's more than just a team to us, and that's what I love. And thoughts and prayers go out to Josh Allen's family, and hopefully they're able to. I mean, losing a matriarch of your family is huge, and we've gone through it. It's tough. It's never easy, and you never plan for that stuff. But when it happens, you look for people to pick you up, and Buffalo really have the Allen's family back this week and further on. This is a hell of a gesture. This is bigger than the Andrew Dalton, Andy Dalton gesture.
Let's get into this game. I mean, this game is going to be very important because now it is an NFC team, but it's important to stack wins against good teams. And when I look at this week's matchup, I see injuries on both sides. I mean, you have Budda Baker, one of the best safeties in this league. You saw him get run down by DK Metcalf a couple of weeks ago. You have Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins. They did not participate in Wednesday's practice. It wasn't injury related. You have Jordan Phillips struggling with a hamstring injury. Has been kind of struggling with that all year. Did not participate. Kenyon Drake hurt his ankle, limited. Drake Patrick, thigh, limited. So it's going to be interesting. And even on the Bills side of the ball, I mean, John Brown didn't practice, but that's a vet day. John Feliciano, back injury. Cody Ford, ankle. Injuries are piling up, and I wish it was indicative of last season where injuries were not an issue in any capacity. Because, I mean, we got Trey White with an ankle injury. I was going to say TJ Eldon, but he doesn't see the field. But
I'm pretty sure he's full participant. I'll say this. I don't want to get too deep into the woe was me injuries because we've had our injuries. We've had our fair share, that's for sure. Especially with Mitch Morse being out for a week and a half.
It's tough.
He's cleared concussion protocol. He's back. That's a huge moment for the offensive line right there. Because Feliciano, he's held it down. He came in the Jets week, and you noticed
immediately.
It was the Jets. It's all blending together now. But he came back in immediately the best player on the line. He gave it a full facelift. Now you get Morse back, and then you got Dawkins, Feliciano, Morse. Hopefully Cody Ford's healthy. And maybe he's healthy. You get a body in there at the one guard position, and then you got Darrell Williams. And you're really looking at maybe the healthiest the Bills have ever been because Josh Norman's back to practicing. John Brown's practicing. Levi Wallace is back. I don't want to plant a flag in it, but wow, could you imagine getting healthy at the perfect time right before a bye week to give everyone's little bumps and bruises a little bit of rest in week 11, and then boom, you have 6 weeks of grind it out. Let's go see if we can get, the first seed. It's crazy, I understand, but you have a perfectly timed bye. We talked about it in April when the schedule came out, or May at this point. It feels like yesterday, and then 2 years ago all at the same time. So when the schedule came out, we're like, wow, I kind of like a late bye. I like it even more now because the team is healthy. They're 7-2, looking to get another win on the road in a tough University of Arizona stadium, or maybe Phoenix. I don't know. But you're going to go there. You're going to hopefully win, show up, compete. You got a tough matchup, that's for sure. Kyler Murray, Larry Fitzgerald's still around. Eventually he'll go into, the cryo chamber. And then Andre Hopkins is still there. He just got there. And you kind of look, this is going to be high profile. If you didn't bet the over of the last game, double down this week and get your winnings from last week back because this is a hell of a game. The Cardinals are favored by 1.5 points. And as I'm, slowly teaching everyone on the pod that listens, you get 3 points right away from just being at home. So, the Bills are kind of getting the favorite from Vegas on this one. So it's interesting. It's exciting. What's your take on the game right now?
So I don't want to say I'm nervous because I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid on the Bills defense right now. I think they played very adequate against the Seahawks. They brought really good pressure. But Kyler Murray he's starting to get a lot more attention, but that is as of very recently. He leads the league in yards per attempt with 7.1. That's more than Miles Sanders. That's more than Delvin Cook. Leads the league at 7.1 yards per carry. He is probably going to be – it's going to be weird because I respect, and you need to respect Russell Wilson as a gamer. But Kyler Murray's kind of starting to emerge himself as a younger Russell Wilson. And I hope that we can kind of corral him the same way that we did with Russell Wilson because that's going to be important. We're going to have him get the ball out fast. We can't have the play breakdown and start to have him scramble. We're going to have to keep him contained. I'm very confident that we can kind of keep Kenyon Drake contained as well. He's got 512 yards on the year. And we need Trey White healthy. We need him to lock down DeAndre Hopkins, which they've had some battles in years past.
Yeah, and I'm not even 100% sure. Kenyon Drake's been out for quite a while now. Chase Edmonds, I'm 25 carries last week. And, he's been kind of the workhorse. I don't think that they're projecting him to have such a big game against the Bills, which is weird because we know that they pass. This Arizona team is going to pass all over you. I've got gobbles of stats. I'll start with the Kyler Murray, Josh Allen stats right here for you. So evading pressure. Now, excuse me. Evading pressure stat is a weird stat. I'm not sure how they come up with it. It's probably a little subjective, so it's the percentage of times you drop back and you get pressured, but you get rid of the ball before the pressure gets there. So it's evading the pressure stat. Would you like to take a stab at who is number one on that stat?
Doesn't Josh Allen lead the league?
He does, in that 29.2% of his evading pressure stat. He does lead the league. Do you know who's number 2 on that stat? You're overthinking it.
Guess it's Kyler Murray.
Yeah, exactly. And then he has a 28.1, which is a whole percentage point plus. But, they're both going to be, if you're Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison, if Ed Oliver gets off some blocks, you're going to get back there. You got to make sure you get home. And that's a real big thing about the pass rush, and they're probably preaching it. We know Jordan Phillips is going to come. He's an energy guy that needs a reason to get up in the morning, has a reason to get up in the morning. Like, no fans in the stand. They might have fans in the stands in Arizona, but they have fans in the stands. He's electric. He's going to be bringing it. Oh, man, he's going to be talking so much. He's going to be dancing in our faces after sacking Josh Allen. It's going to happen because we know what kind of talent he is. But he's going to get home, and Josh Allen's the best in the league and trying to evade that. Let's hope everyone stays healthy. Get to the bye week. Stay healthy. But evading pressure is – now, here's a little bit more in the depth on the deeper Bills stats here. Kind of going in line with, the year Josh Allen's having right now. He's player of the week twice now out of 9 weeks. Pretty good percentage of that. So after 9 weeks, he is third in the NFL in the throws on target percentage. So the amount of times you throw and it's right on target, which we've been told how many times about Josh Allen for the last 3 years, 4 years. He's an inaccurate passer. You can't teach accuracy. It's never going to work for him. You better be lucky if you get it out to him. He is third in the league behind Drew Brees, who dumps off to Alvin Kamara almost every play, Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina, who spent most of the beginning of the year dumping off to Christian McCaffrey most of the year. And then third is Josh Allen with 81.4%. Now, we know that he's not doing the dump-offs. Josh Allen is almost allergic to dumping the ball off, which I don't hate, especially if you're going to be on target for 81.2 or 81.4% of your passes. That's a great stat. That's an accuracy stat that I was told I would never be able to pull up on that unless it was a blue moon. Well, we're 9 weeks into it. The moon is still white, at least for my point of view. Sometimes it's yellow. And he's got 81.4% of his passes on target. That's huge. I don't know what more you want from him. Now, the Bills in the red zone, they have scored the most touchdowns in the red zone in the NFL. And how about this? They lead the league with touchdowns within the first 5 yards of the end zone, like within the 5 yards of the end zone. They're not getting field goals once they're in that position. They're punching it in. Good luck. Zach Moss, Gabriel Davis, Devin Singletary, Josh Allen on the run, Josh Allen on the pass. We've seen Croft score a touchdown last week. I've seen it before. Haven't seen it in a while. I believe it exists, though, still. Dawson Knox can catch, and every now and then he'll catch it in the end zone. We've seen Deion Dawkins catch a touchdown. This team is very versatile when it gets in the first 5 yards or within 5 yards of the end zone. It's huge. Now, last caveat about Josh Allen. I'm just doing a stat blurb here. 47.9% of his passing attempts come on first down.
That's interesting. Bills are known to run heavy on first down historically, so it's weird seeing that flip. I mean, it's weird seeing a quarterback with the Buffalo Bills throw for over 400 yards and only have 6 incompletions?
I think after the whole game was over, it was about 7. I think he was 31 of 38. He had some.
You ever imagine that would be a stat line of a Buffalo Bills quarterback?
Not something I would see consistently. I think, okay, maybe Tyrod got lucky. I mean, he wouldn't throw that many passes, but maybe Tyrod got lucky and he went 20 for 26 or something like that. He probably has many times because he was a safe thrower. But the Bills on offense, we got Stephon Diggs leading in catches, leading in passes. He's tied his catch total from last year. He played 15 games with the Vikings and on only 3 less attempts or targets. So it's a huge stat. Stephon Diggs is good. Cole Beasley's good. John Brown's getting healthy. This offense is starting to click. Where does it take you now? I don't know, but man, am I excited that you have this kind of let's see where we are on the road game against the Cardinals, high-powered, another shootout, and then you get the advantage of getting a late bye. You take everything you know about this team, you revamp it, you tool it, you get the scissors out, you cut off the fat of it, you really start to really make it into a juggernaut going into the last 6 weeks and last 6 games and really kind of tough it out into the playoffs. Win the division, get us a home game. I'll wear my mask. We can go to the games. We'll figure out what's going on there. The Bills are in the perfect seat, and they're in the driver's seat with 1.5 game above the Dolphins for the AFC East.
Yeah, John Brown really transforms this offense. You look at him when he was out, completely different. He just opens it up, and I mean, it's really, really a great sight to see when he doesn't have to take the load of a number 1 wide receiver. When you have Stephon Diggs, when you have Cole Beasley, when you have John Brown. You really see a different offense.
100%. I mean, I can't even quantify it. He is a difference maker because because he is a next level threat. He was your number one wide receiver this year, and he's 1A this year, or 1B, excuse me, this year. But he hasn't been on the field enough. And, a healthy John Brown is a next level weapon that you can't get anywhere else. Hopefully he's got all of his injuries out of the way now. And as we're marching towards February, the last game of the year, we get to see what we really have out of this offense. And let's just keep the pedal on the metal, all gas, no brakes, score points, get yards.
You know what's interesting? The Bills are undefeated when Josh Allen throws for 300 yards. And that's an interesting stat because normally you see a lot of losing quarterbacks throw that many yards because of garbage time. But you're seeing
we saw Russell Wilson last week.
And I don't know this for sure, but I'd be kind of hard-pressed to think that we were behind in those games, and those games were come from behind victories. I think Josh is just slinging the ball, and when Josh slings the ball, good things happen.
Let's think the Ram games, they never trailed. The Seahawks game, they led all 4 quarters.
Dolphins.
I mean, those Dolphins, you're asking me to dig that far back, but I don't think they were trailing in that game at all. He comes correct when he's coming correct. They were trailing in the Jets game, but he got 300 yards, 0 touchdowns, and they won the game. So at the end of the day, I'll be okay with that too. Just win the games. I don't care if they get 200 rushing yards or 300 passing yards. At the end of the day, as long as it's more points Bills, less points other team, that's all I'm going to care about. I'm not even going to pick them apart on their losses because they've been playing so well in the other game until we get to January. Then I'll pick you apart.
That's when it matters.
I'm excited. What's the biggest matchup that you're looking forward to?
I think it's got to be DeAndre Hopkins and a healthy Trey White.
Absolutely. I could definitely see that. I think I'm kind of interested to see. I know I've seen him. I've seen him for 2 years. I want to see what Jordan Phillips can do in a different system. I know he's got a couple sacks this year. I know he's starting to become a little bit of a fan favorite in Arizona. Don't forget where don't forget where you came from. I loved you before they loved you. Never forget that. I remember thinking, who the hell is that guy dancing around? I love that.
Remember? I distinctly remember that at a Bills game. I said, who's that big ass guy dancing and yelling and pumping up the crowd? We look at our programs and Jordan Phillips. Who's Jordan Phillips?
Out of all of the years I've ever had to look at a program, I've never looked at a program because I didn't know what player that was. I was like, no, it's not Phillips. He wears 99. I looked at the program, 90. He wasn't even in the program. They picked him up 2 weeks before. Wasn't in the program. I had to have the guy with the pretzels three seats down telling me that it's Jordan Phillips, the guy they got from Miami. He schooled me. He schooled the professor. That guy,
that doesn't happen often.
The student becomes the master, and the master becomes the student. It's a very interesting thing. But Jordan Phillips, guy, I still love him. I wish there was no salary cap, and then he was still on the Bills. Could you imagine this? I don't want to, because sometimes you have to move on.
It's going to be a big test for Mitch Morris coming back, John Feliciano. They're going to have to contain him. As simple as that.
And if I know anything about my old friend Jordan Phillips, you can't contain him. You just have to wish you can slow him down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be huge. I think I don't want to give him too much praise because, maybe he's out there watching. But I think Jordan Phillips is as big as a threat as Aaron Donald is, because I know what Jordan Phillips is. I know what he can do. I know he can change a game. We think about last year with that Miami game. He gets a huge sack on Fitz. They're losing. Fitz is driving. He's in the red zone. He's about to put the game away. Phillips wakes him up, starts using his hands, getting everybody jazzed up, gets the sack. Next play, Trey White interception. Bills go down, win it. We get the Micah Hyde onside kick return for a touchdown. We know how much Jordan Phillips can affect a game. Hopefully the Bills are aware too, and they don't try to get him in a position. Pay as much attention to Jordan Phillips this week as you do Aaron Donald. I don't think Patrick Peterson is the quarterback. Patrick Peterson is the cornerback he used to be. So hopefully, soon become the master. Stephon Diggs can take him to town a little bit.
Yeah, we'll probably see Dre Patrick, but to the same point, I don't think that he's been putting up the numbers. He has.
Patrick is. I'm trying to think of another term besides a shell of himself. He is the opposite of it. He's so much deeper than a shell of himself. His days in Cincinnati are so far gone, and his days in Alabama are even further. I remember Drake Kirkpatrick from back in the day. Loved him. He's done the proverbial fall off, if I may.
I mean, that was almost fucking Carson Palmer era. Not really, 2012 when he was drafted, but I don't know. When I think of the Bengals, it's Carson, TJ Hushmanzada, fucking Chad Ochocinco,
Rudy Johnson.
Yeah.
I used to dabble in the Bengals a little bit.
I know what you have on your wall.
Yeah, I used to dabble in the Bengals. Yeah, I was a fan. No, 2012, that was the year they drafted Andrew Dalton. Andy Dalton, excuse me. That's the second time I've called him Andrew. A lot of respect between him and our savior of the play. And then, that was actually, he was the pick after we picked Aaron Williams.
Really?
Yeah. It went Aaron Williams, Andy Dalton, Colin Kaepernick. And in case you were wondering, yes, they did need a quarterback then. So
Bills needed a quarterback every year up until we drafted Josh Allen.
True. I cannot tell a lie. That is definitely a factual statement. What do we got here? We got a big weekend. Alabama, LSU was postponed. But we do have the Masters still. Now, let me give you a little roundabout here. No one has played golf more than you and I this summer. There might have been a couple, but this fall, we've been taking advantage of the great weather. We've been playing a ton of golf. We're getting better. Some days I'm getting worse. But the Masters are this week, and Tiger Woods won last year. I won my pool off a win. And now Tiger Woods picks the menu last night, if you're listening to us now, of what he wants everyone at the Masters to eat for dinner this evening or last night. What would be, I'm putting you on the spot here, what would be you just won the Masters last year, what is the meal you're feeding everyone?
Oh, Jesus. All right, so you got to start out with mozzarella sticks. Simple.
Mozzarella sticks. We're at Augusta.
You got the brick ones instead of the little logs.
Yeah.
Jesus, you're putting me on the spot here.
Definitely.
I mean, I guess you got to go with a good steak, like a tomahawk steak.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Potatoes, some garlic mashed potatoes.
Okay.
All right. Maybe some corn on the cob. I don't know. You're starting to get a little too cash there, but,
yeah.
It's the Masters.
I mean, we're at Augusta. Come on, there's a green jacket involved.
So, all right. So, maybe we'll do like a side of corn.
Side of corn. Oh, yes. And a little gravy boat to put around.
We'll omit the cob.
Absolutely.
Get some snap peas in there.
I'm liking this.
What do you got?
My meal of choice at the Masters. All right, I was thinking about this while I was listening to my favorite ESPN. You know who it is. Freddie and Fitz. Freddie Coleman, the GOAT.
Shout out to Freddie Coleman.
I listen to him the way people go to church. I mean, I am a Freddie Coleman. When I talk about bucket lists of podcasts, Freddie Coleman is high on the bucket list of who we wish he could have on our podcast.
Why don't we reach out to him? Probably say yeah.
He would definitely say yes, but sometimes
don't meet your heroes.
Care to meet your heroes. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably go with a pork chop. My sides would be probably a mac and cheese, like a really good mac.
With the breadcrumbs on top?
Yes. Buttermilk biscuit and a side of riblets. 2 meats.
2.
And then a spiked Arnold Palmer because that's my drink of choice.
Arnold Palmies?
Arnie Palmer.
So I bought some Deep Eddy. I might go get an Arizona tonight.
Oh, I messed up. I wanted to do this at the beginning.
The ball.
I'm trying to give away this ball. If you guys get it right, I will get this to you by the time the Bills play next. Whoa.
Yo, delete that. Delete it.
So I'll tell you what. You guys get the score right. I'm sending it to you free of charge. I'm paying not paying expedition. It'll get there when it gets there.
We'll probably pay for the cheapest shipping. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, some people live in Alaska. People are talking about how they live in Brazil. We are not overnight shipping it to Brazil. I promise you.
Yes, but you guys are eligible. I'm not going to pull a fast one like, oh, you have to live in a certain state. No, we are for the people at Madman Sports. Give me a score prediction. Jake, what's your score prediction?
I'm going. I mean, it's going to be a shootout. I know the Bills are capable of putting up 44 points. I'm going to go 40.
To beat the Seahawks, by the way.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kyler Murray's a young Russell Wilson. I'm going to go 40-37 Bills. It's going to be a close one. Tyler Bass, the game may be riding on his shoulders.
You said that last week.
Sometime, kid. It's this week.
All right, and I will go. I was only 10 points off both ways on my score prediction last week, by the way.
Really? I don't even know what I said.
I will go Bills 38, Arizona 21.
That would be another statement win from the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely. Go into the bye, go get healthy, revamp your team a little bit, and listen to some Madman Sports. We'll be back for the bye week. Let's try to shoot for Sunday next week, Jake. What do you think?
I hope to get my results of a COVID test tomorrow. So if I'm negative, we're back in the studio. If we're positive,
we're at the Skype still. We can still do Skype.
Hopefully.
Thank you for your time, guys. I hope you have a great week. Go Bills. Thanks for watching. Take care and enjoy.
Go Bills.